Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? I'm doing very well. Getting ready to make some breakfast real quick, and then I'm going to go to work. I just wanted to chat for a few minutes. I'm actually going to have steak and eggs this morning. I found some really decent steak. It was not on sale. It was $4 and some change. I don't typically have steak for breakfast, but it was cheaper than bacon and it was cheaper than sausage at $4 and some change. And so this is what the steak looks like. I forget the kind that it is, but I've already cleaned it and washed it, and I just have a little bit of nature seasoning on there. And that's gonna be breakfast for me. I've never had a fried steak and egg sandwich before, believe it or not. But I'm gonna try it today, and I fully expect this steak to shrink. It just seems like the type that'll shrink on you. But I expect it to be delicious also. I'm just gonna do one little fried egg and no cheese or anything. Just bread, steak and egg, and a little seasoning, and that's it. And I think that's sufficient, that's enough. Now, of course, I'm not gonna eat all of this. I'll probably just eat a couple of slices of this, and then the rest I will put in another meal later on. Maybe I'll fry up some onions and bell peppers and make a little tiny bowl of pepper steak, make some rice. That would be really, really good. So I have this going on my Power Smokeless grill. I love this grill. The cleanup is so easy on this grill. I didn't touch that steak, so I don't have to wash my hands. I've already cleaned it and seasoned it and had it laying out here on some freezer paper. Just fold up the freezer paper, put the fork in the sink. They have another, well, I'll use this to flip the food. And then I'm good to go. It's a beautiful day outside. It's gonna be a chilly day, but I think it's gonna be in the 50s or something like that. But it's a lovely day. It's a good day to go for a brisk walk on your lunch break, or just get outside. If you're someone who likes chilly weather, just get out there and enjoy the weather. It's just beautiful. I don't mind the cold air or the winter season if I can get some sunshine out of the deal. It's those gray, cold days that I just don't like, especially if I'm stuck in the house. Oh my gosh, that just makes for misery. Unless you're the type that likes to just hang out in the house and watch movies all day or something like that. You know, I used to do that. I used to be able to just watch movies all day long and just be so good with it. But it's been years and years and years since I've been able to do that or really enjoyed doing that. I am getting back into watching the old black and white movies. I've always loved black and white movies. My great-grandmother on my mother's side, and then my grandmother on my father's side, I can recall watching old black and white movies with them like in the 70s, early 70s, and probably, I don't know if my memory takes me back to the late 60s, but I do remember watching those black and white movies, and I just really fell in love with them. I can watch Lucy, I Love Lucy, every day of my life. And there was a time when I did it. I watched it every single day. And I remember some years ago, probably in the late 90s, when my mother passed away, I needed something to kind of, get my mind off of it. And back then we had VCRs. They're still around, I guess, but I remember watching TV Land, not Nickelodeon, but TV Land on cable, and recording all of these episodes of I Love Lucy. So I have all of these VHS tapes with I Love Lucy on them still. And these tapes are every bit of, over 20 years old. I imagine they still work. I can still watch them if I had a VCR. They've just been tucked away. But I used to watch replays of I Love Lucy on my VCR every day. I mean, I have a lot of episodes of I Love Lucy. And I think I mentioned this before. One day I Googled Lucy therapy. It's a thing. It's Google it. It's online. People, not just me, watch I Love Lucy because it's one of those shows where you can just enjoy it. You can laugh. It's clean, fun, and I was trying to see what that was on my countertop. It's just a towel. Um, Good, clean fun. Good, clean comedy rather, and it just kind of helps you clear your mind. So I love old black and white movies. If I could have been anything in my life, it would have been like a movie star from like the 50s and 60s or something like that. A comedian, somebody doing clean comedy, like the Lucille Ball type. She was she was a comedian. She did movies before she did I Love Lucy. She was known as, I guess, the queen of the B movies at one point. But she was so funny, and she didn't mind looking crazy, making crazy expressions on her face, putting on crazy outfits and not having her hair combed. And I'm telling you, I've always loved that kind of comedy. Carol Burnett is another one that doesn't mind doing that kind of zany comedy where it's not about your looks. You don't have to be cute. You can just get out there and look silly, put yourself in a silly situation and make people laugh. I love that. Laughter is so good for the soul. That's why many times when I do these videos, if I look all messed up, my hair's not done, or there's a flub on the video, or I'm acting silly. My Thanksgiving video that I did about the Thanksgiving shopping list, that's just an example of how I don't mind sitting in front of a camera and doing something ridiculous. That was all improv. And, it's just some little character I whipped up on the spot. And I was like, let me just do this video. But I love that kind of ridiculous comedy. And I tell you, if I ever have the opportunity in life to be a comedian and to just do something to make people laugh and get paid for it, but even if I don't get paid for it, I would love that kind of opportunity. Let's see how we're doing here. We're doing pretty good. Yay! I hope this steak is not tough. I'm not a huge steak person, but I'm also not against it. So I'm not like an expert at cooking it. I just know that it needs to be done, that's all. I can't eat anything rare, medium rare, or with any pink in it, because I'll probably get lightheaded and faint. I just can't handle it. Let me rinse my fork off real quick. So I'm going to use that again. And then I'm going to butter that grill, fry an egg on there. I'm going to bust that egg yolk because a runny egg, oh my gosh. I went to, I think it was Panera Bread one time, and they had this beautiful sandwich, a picture of this beautiful breakfast sandwich up on the menu. And I thought, that looks so good. Let me get that. So it was, I think it was an egg, avocado, some type of white cheese, and I don't know if it had sausage or bacon, but it looked really good, and the bread looked really good too. It was one of those fancy breads. I'm a total bread person, so I was good with that. So I grabbed it. I was on my way to work. I got to my office and I took the sandwich out of the bag and I bit into it. Egg yolk went running all down my face. I was instantly sick. I was so furious. I left my job, okay? I went back to Panera and I just let that manager have it. I was like, you sold me a raw egg sandwich. But come to find out, that's the way they prepare that particular sandwich. They use a really runny egg yolk. I just didn't notice it when I was looking at it on the menu. So they ended up, I think they refunded my money, and they kindly made me another sandwich. But I was just like, oh my gosh. And there's something about eating an undercooked egg. I instantly know when I'm eating an undercooked egg. I can eat an undercooked egg with my eyes closed. And I'll know it because that yolk makes my tongue numb immediately. There's a numbing thing inside of egg yolk. I'm sure that's a thing, but my tongue immediately gets numb from it. So that's how I know whenever I'm eating something undercooked. But I know so many people love runny eggs, sunny side up. And if you can do that, hey, go ahead and do it, enjoy it. Some of us get lightheaded. I'm gonna put my steak on here. Let me grab my foil. I have some paper towels here on the counter. I'll line that paper towel with one of these. I'll line that foil with a couple of sheets of these paper towels here. Although it shouldn't be greasy. I don't think this is a greasy steak. No, it's not. I hope it's good. Usually, if you add a little nature seasoning to your food, that's all you need. It's got salt, pepper. It's got garlic powder. Let's see what else. Salt, pepper, a little sugar, onion flour, garlic powder, parsley, and celery seed. And then the rest of it is stuff like magnesium, carbonate, that kind of stuff. It doesn't have a lot of ingredients in it, but that's really all you need to season your food, you know. And it's pretty salty. And I think I got the low sodium one. Let's see. This one's 25% less sodium, but it's still pretty salty. So I just used a little bit of it instead of me going in with salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. No, I just, you know, I'll just find it all in one little bottle and use that. So my steak looks like it's done. Let's see here. Yeah, it's done because these were really thin pieces of steak. See, that's really brown. And that's how I like my steak. It's slightly chewy because I don't really know how to cook steak that well. That's just not it's not an expertise of mine because I don't eat it that often. But the flavor on that, wow, it's really, really good. So later on, I'll run to the store, get a bell pepper. I already have an onion. And I will saute my bell pepper and onion and make a nice broth for my steak. And I'll just have pepper steak. My mom used to make that for us all the time when we were kids. I never mastered making that, but I really enjoy it, and I can make it so that it tastes really, really good. But I usually just have to, you know, sit there and add this, add that, sample it, add more of this, add more of that, and then it will usually turns out very well. So I have my butter melting here. I spilled just a little bit of juice from the steak onto my counter. Let's get that up. Okay. My mom said to me one time, a good cook always cleans up after herself. Like, I remember her saying that to me. So, I clean up after myself. So here's my egg. I busted that yolk, y'all. I have to do it. I just have to do it. And I don't know why I put away my butter because I need to make some toast. I'm just going to throw it right on the grill. I like just keeping things real simple. I think one of the worst things you can do is get in that kitchen and try to be cute while you're cooking. No, it's not about your looks when it comes to cooking, you know. It's about food safety, seasoning your food properly, and doing it with love and TLC. And so, when I cook, my stuff doesn't look fancy, but it tastes really, really good. So, I'm using this kind of bread. This is Arnold's oat nut bread. I like it because it doesn't fall apart on you, and it's got a little oomph to it, little something to it. Now, I can take or leave salt with my eggs. I don't really need it, especially if I'm having a salty meat with it, but I like the flavor of nature's seasoning. So I'm just gonna hit it with just a little tiny sprinkle, and really a tiny sprinkle of this is all you need. It's got a good flavor, but it's salty. And it's a really delicious seasoning. It's one of those seasonings that I use really because my mom used it. Isn't it something how we do things because we're raised in a certain way? We eat certain things all of our lives, whether they're the best food item or not. If we were raised on it, we eat it. And I just wish I could make half the stuff that I was raised on, like chicken and dumplings. Actually, I could probably make chicken and dumplings if I really tried. My friend MJ over at Eat Up First, y'all go and check out his YouTube channel, Eat Up First. So my friend MJ over at Eat Up First, he has a recipe, a video on chicken and dumplings. I'm pretty sure he does, yes. And he's a really good cook. So when the time comes for me to make chicken and dumplings, I will probably use his recipe. And come to think of it, I do have a chicken breast in the freezer. And I think I have all the ingredients for chicken and dumplings. I think he makes his dumplings from scratch too. He's a scratch cook, so he can make it happen, you know. So that might be that's another comfort food that I was raised on. As well as goulash. My mom's goulash was really good. We ate a lot of beans and cornbread, that was good, and a ton of fried fish. Because my mom loved going fishing. That was such a passion of hers. So we ate a lot of that. But back then, I used to be able to scale and clean the fish and cut the head off and gut them. Right now, I'd be like lightheaded. But I can eat some fried fish. We had like a lot of catfish, perch, whatever she could catch from the nearby waters where she, fished. And I think we had like bass, catfish. Seems like I can remember her throwing the perch back in, but I'm not sure. It's been so long ago since I've actually went fishing with her. This egg is turning out really well. I think it's time to flip it over. Let's flip it. Yay! It's not the prettiest egg, but it's going to taste good. Let me rinse my hands off. Oh, let me bust that yolk from this side too. I can't have any kind of anything runny. So, all week long, look at that. Doesn't that look good? I'm going to let the bottom half get toasted as well. All week long, I have been eating really buttery toast, okay, for breakfast. I've been eating toast with jelly, and it's just been like amazing. I've just been keeping it simple all week. And Raven, go Raven. I have to take Raven to the vet today. She's not feeling well, but anyway, go Raven. Go, sweet girl. She sat down. So my steak and eggs is ready. Let me turn this off. And the cleanup for that grill is so super easy. It's so super easy. So let me get my bread out here and put a little steak on it. Little piece of steak. Let's see which piece I want. Okay. That's really good. The seasoning on that is really good. Y'all try some nature seasoning if you haven't tried it. So I'm going to put my egg on my sandwich, like so, and just cover it up. And that is my beautiful steak and egg sandwich. Another thing I have all the time, and probably it's not something people typically eat, I don't know, but it's going to be delicious with my coffee. And here it is. Y'all see that? That looks really good. And I can't wait to bite into it. Anyway, y'all go and grab a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage, tea, water, soda, whatever it is. Make a nice breakfast sandwich or a nice sandwich for lunch. Get some nice thick bread or thin bread or no bread. If you use celery as your bread and top it with cream cheese, go get some of that. Get your nice cup out. Make a nice beverage and enjoy it and just do you. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching my video. Give it a thumbs up if you feel like it. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.